I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlogger who always tells it like it is. Now for this column, I decided to give just a short opinion on several different topics going on in the WWE these days. And considering we just came off of 2 pay-per-views in the span of 9 days, and the next ep of Raw happens to be in England, I think there's a lot to talk about. Plus I want to shorten this to 7 or 8 minutes, so here we go! You know, ever since 2000, when Money in the Bank was made into its own pay-per-view, I have advocated that it be returned to WrestleMania where I felt it belonged. For 6 years, Money in the Bank was a highlight of WrestleMania when the other matches have been relatively lackluster, but they have been doing everything they have in their power over the last 8 years to keep the pay-per-view going with 2 ladder matches per. Now, back when it was co-branded, they had one for Raw's primary title and one for SmackDown's. Now they have a cross-branded match for the men and one for the women, and the latter, which I approve of, by the way. So they're going to keep up until Money in the Bank contract becomes passé, and sadly I don't see that happening very soon. 6 times. 6 times! Since WrestleMania, Shinsuke Nakamura has nailed AJ Styles in the Little Phenomenals. Now, not that I don't like Shinsuke's heel turn. I do. A lot, actually. But what is his obsession with low blows? I haven't seen someone so obsessed with going down there below the belt since Goldust first introduced his Golden Globes move. Now, we've been through 3 matches between these two and still no resolution. Now, we know that a last man standing match won't work because they both got KO'd at Backlash. Hell in a Cell, perhaps? In any case, either Shinsuke needs to win the WWE Championship or he needs to move on to other pursuits. Maybe you can see how hard Jeff Hardy's cojones are? But he has got to end this because it's making me wince and speak in a falsetto voice. Why is Jinder Mahal so keen on grabbing the spotlight on Raw? Has he forgotten how poorly he did before he won the WWE Championship last year? The guy was a near jobber, for crying out loud. He was hanging with Heath Slater trying to make a name for himself. Then he lucks his way into the title picture and thanks to the Bollywood boys managed to hold on to the belt for a long time until AJ Styles took it from him in London. And we all know the only reason Jinder was even considered for the title was to appease the fans in India, right? Well, he's had his day in the sun. Time for him to go back to obscurity where I feel he's belonged this whole time. Okay, I thought, like so many of you, that Carmella didn't have a snowman's chance in Kilauea of holding on to the SmackDown's Women's Championship without the help of the Iconics. But then she shocks the hell out of everyone, and with a little chicanery, gets a clean victory over Charlotte Flair at Backlash. Color me absolutely impressed. For years, she was the valet for a tag team that burned too fast on Raw and split up. Now she's a legitimate competitor in the women's division. She may have needed Billie Kay and Peyton Royce's help to get the title, but here's hoping she doesn't need their help to hold it. Please, Carmella, keep shocking us! Oh, by the way, anyone else already sick and tired of the Iconics' holier-than-thou meets Aussie Valley Girl banter? Not just me? A lot of people? Okay, good. Moving on. So it seems that Seth Rollins is going to pull a John Cena and put up the Intercontinental Championship practically every time he competes on television. And I think that's a good thing. When John Cena had the US Open Challenge, it not only made the title relevant again, but it also showed us that Cena was also relevant. Now, I'm not saying Rollins is irrelevant, folks. I'm saying that with Brock Lesnar in major pay-per-view only mode, like always, we need a fighting champion on Raw. We need someone who treats their title as more than just a belt that says, "Hey, look at me, I'm better than you are, and I only have to prove it when I want to." So kudos to Seth Rollins. Now, if only Roman Reigns or someone else can get that belt away from Brock. There doesn't seem to be a tag team on SmackDown who can compete with the Bludgeon Brothers, does there? I mean, the Usos couldn't, the New Day couldn't, Maybe Gallows and Anderson might give him a run, but I doubt they can stop him. Ever since they reformed and brought back their old Wyatt family attitude, they've been nigh on unstoppable. A regular revival of Demolition or the Road Warriors. I strongly suggest that Sanity get to SmackDown as soon as possible, because if they don't, we may be looking at a new record breaker for longest reign as tag team champions. Speaking of dominant tag teams, I was a big proponent of the Authors of Pain back in NXT. With Paul Ellering by their side, I thought they would be the Road Warriors reborn. But then Ellering was shoved off by Akon and Razor, and that was the end of that. Oh, they're still a kick-ass team, and I know Ellering can't handle the travel schedule at his age, but it still loses some oomph when the man who led them to the promised land can't keep leading them. I haven't seen them in a true tag battle yet, so we'll have to wait and see if they can hack it. Oh, by the way, anyone else starting to see No Way Jose as Adam Rose version 2.0? Not just me? Do you remember Adam Rose with his party bus and the bunny? Okay. Jose, ditch the conga line, okay? Finally, Buddy Murphy has gotten the heavy pole out of his ass and will face Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship at the end of the month. That is, provided he stays under the 205-pound limit this time. The matches with Cedric at WrestleMania and the Greatest Royal Rumble were pretty good despite the reactions from the crowd, the lackluster reactions. And Buddy seems to have the tough guy vibe going, so speed versus power, always a good matchup. You know, I don't usually watch 205 Live, but I may make an exception for late May. Well, time to divert this stream of consciousness back to more specific topics for next time. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlogger who always tells it like it is. See ya!